Hey, it's your guy Tyrrell back with the interviews. In today's video, we're going to briefly analyze the key role Casemiro holds in the heart of a Brazilian midfield aiming to claim their 6th World Cup crown. So in today's video, first we're going to focus on Brazil's shape, then we'll look at Casemiro's impact without possession, and lastly we'll focus on Casemiro's impact in possession. So when we break it all down and we do look at the board, when Brazil has been fit, we've seen them in a 4-2-3-1, with Neymar playing just off richarlison and Vinicius and raphinha out in the wider areas. It's been Casemiro and Lucas Paquetá in the midfield zone, and then you have Alexandro, Danilo, Thiago Silva, and Marquinhos forming the back four. There have been situations where Alexandro hasn't been fit, and we've witnessed Danilo move to the left back role and Militao moving to the right back role. And with Neymar unavailable for large portions of that group stage round, you witnessed a time where you ended up seeing Lucas Paquetá playing just in behind richarlison, and then it was Casemiro in front in that midfield area. When Neymar has been in the side, you've witnessed Brazil drop off into two banks of four out of possession, and that's where you would see Casemiro and Lucas Paquetá protecting the center of the pitch. But there was also the time where Neymar was unavailable and Lucas Paquetá played higher up the pitch, and that's where you witnessed Brazil drop off into a 4-1-4-1 with Fred and Lucas Paquetá just ahead of Casemiro. From an attacking perspective, we witnessed Brazil swap between a 4-1-5 and a 3-2-5 as they look to attack with 5 players in the final third, and that often sees Lucas Paquetá or Fred joining the attack to make up those central areas with richarlison and Neymar. Vinicius and raphinha would hug the touchline to stretch the pitch, and that's where you would see the fullbacks hanging narrow and Casemiro just ahead of the back four. With Danilo and Alexandro both fit, there have been times where they've shifted into a 2-3-5, and that see Alexandro and Danilo occupying the half spaces, and that's often when teams drop off deeper. And there have been situations where Alexandro was unavailable and Militao was in the back four, and he would hold his position with Marquinhos and Thiago Silva. Danilo would shift laterally in towards the midfield zone to make up a 3-2-5, and Brazil would look to attack in that manner. So first we'll focus on Casemiro's impact for Brazil out of possession, and he kind of does a bit of everything in terms of putting out fires, breaking up play, and ensuring that the center of the pitch isn't bypassed. What you end up seeing is that when Brazil do drop off in two banks of 4 or a 4-1-4-1, due to their lack of pressure on a consistent basis, there are those gaps of space where the opposing side's attacking players are looking to drop into, and Casemiro's main responsibility is to ensure that players don't shift into that zone and create attacking opportunities when they receive the ball in that area, or ensuring that they don't receive the ball in that area, period. One of the key components to Casemiro's significance to this Brazil side is his ability to break up play in all areas of the pitch. In terms of his own third, he does a very good job of sitting ahead of the back four and stepping forward to apply pressure to the ball carrier, or anticipate loose balls in and around his own third to break up play. You'll see him either breaking up play by making tackles to win possession, but he also does a very good job of stepping forward to apply pressure and forcing the opposing side's attacking player to turn sideways or play back passes towards their backline. And then similar to the middle third, what he does well in the final third ahead of his own penalty area is that he's aware of the loose balls in and around his own zone, and he does a very good job of stepping towards those loose balls or stepping towards loose touches to apply pressure towards the opposing side's attacking players. He's capable of using his strength and his intelligence to brush off those attacking players and then regain possession to help his side push forward. In the middle third, a lot of it is down to his ability to win loose balls or anticipate loose balls in those central areas and step forward towards them to apply pressure and make challenges to win the ball. In Brazil's narrow 1-0 win against Switzerland, you witnessed them playing a 4-1-4-1 with Fred and Lucas Paquetá just ahead of Casemiro when they were out of possession, and in those situations they had a 2v1 against richarlison and they invited the center backs to push forward, and from there you were witnessing either one of the shuttlers pushing in towards that midfield zone or the striker dropping off to overload the center of the pitch. From here they were able to bypass the midfield bank, and this was the issue that you witnessed Casemiro having with Brazil in this system. He would have to shift laterally across to attempt to break up play, and there were two situations in particular where one, he was able to win possession, and the other one, he was forced to shift across to Embolo, who dropped off in towards that space between the lines, thus leaving Casemiro with a lot of ground to recover, and there you ended up seeing him breaking up play and committing a foul. The other issue that Casemiro can encounter in that middle third in terms of him breaking up play is that when his side is bypassed in transition, then he has to recover back to attempt to apply pressure, and on the rare occasion where he can't make make a successful tackle or foul the opposing attacking player, he does a very good job of tracking back, applying pressure, and forcing that attacking player to either go sideways or play back passes in towards his back line. And from there, he's able to get his teammates to recover their position and halt the counterattack. When his teammates are pushed higher up the pitch, it's Casemiro who's often applying protection for the center backs and any of the full backs holding their position. And what he does well in these situations is that he looks to step forward to apply pressure. And from there, he's either looking to break up play or halt the attack to ensure that his teammates are able to get back into position. There was a situation in particular where he was behind the attack when Korea won possession, and he was forced to track back to apply pressure towards Heung-min Son, and he did a very good job of applying pressure instantly, tracking his run, sticking with Heung-min Son, and then putting in a challenge to ensure that they couldn't break forward, and he conceded a throw-in to allow his teammates to recover their position. From an attacking perspective, Casemiro's an all-rounder, and you witnessed that with his winning goal against Switzerland, where he stepped forward into the attack unmarked and was capable of receiving a one-touch pass in left half space to win the game for Brazil. But outside of the goals, he does provide value in terms of helping Brazil bypass the opposing side's press. We've often seen sides drop into two banks of four, and they'd have the two attacking players between Casemiro to ensure that he couldn't get on the ball. And against Serbia, you witnessed them playing a 3-4-1-2 with Dusan Tadic stepping towards him and ensuring that he couldn't get on the ball freely. But ultimately, there are two key components to Casemiro's game that helps him be effective in this regard, and one is his ability to drag defenders towards him. He's press resistant, and what he ends up doing is that he allows the pass to be played in towards him, and he lets the ball roll across his body to bypass the press, and from there he's capable of progressing Brazil's attack, and that's one key avenue that helps Brazil bypass the opposing side's midfield shape and gets the attacking players on the ball. There was the example against the Korea Republic where he received the ball in the halfway circle and played it back towards Marquinhos, and when Marquinhos received the ball, you could see two Korea players drag towards him. There's pressure tight on Casemiro, and when that pass is played, he uses his body to hold off the attacker, and he lets the ball roll across him, and that helps him carry the ball in towards their own half and slide it out towards Neymar. And then the other key trait that makes Casemiro useful in that midfield zone is his ability to drag the pressure towards him and then play quick one-touch passes across the pressure in towards his attacking teammates in the final third. You could see him doing this with a quick one-touch forward pass, and he's also displayed some nifty technical skill by using the back heel on the first touch to bypass opponents by dragging them towards him, and then playing the ball around them with that back heel to ensure that Brazil are capable of pushing forward and progressing their attack. So as you could see, despite Brazil possessing an abundance of attacking flair in the final third and defensive solidity at the back, it's still Casemiro who represents one of the key figures to their World Cup success, as he provides the balance in the midfield zone to break up attacks, yet also bypass the opposition's press and ignite attacks from deep.